Well, thank you, Lorenzo, and thank you everyone for being here. So yeah, as the title suggests, my talk will be about hybrids and bridging communities. My name is Fakhra, I'm a game designer, and I absolutely love what I do, from creating video games to hosting workshops and organizing events back home. And yeah, I've started a game studio called Hybrid Humans. We're based in UAE. Oddly enough, we are the first independent Emirati game studios in the city. And this is our cozy space, and these are our published games. We've worked on Hab Hab Away, a puzzle adventure game that portrays the animal's condition in entertainment business, specifically bunnies and circus. And our second game is Lurks, is a local multiplayer game. We wanted to bring back the deception board game experience to the most popular device that people use. So we want to create this social game experience. And our current, what is that? Okay. And our last project was a sewing simulator for an art exhibition back home. It was called Emirati Adornment, and some pictures. Our current project is Falcon Action. It's a competitive game, online racing multiplayer with some rhythm elements. We're experimenting with this game, and we're developing this publicly. Some pictures, and here are the team behind those games. From left, it's Ali and Luke, and we're celebrating our 3rd birthday in February. And Henry just joined us from Brazil just last week, so yay, Henry. And so let's go with the bigger picture and talk about the game scene in the UAE. It's quite a big market for video games and for gamers. We're one of the top countries that buy and play games. But as an indie game community, it's quite small and tiny. We're only a handful of us. So I've been organizing the Global Game Jam for 4 years in the UAE, hosting the event, and I also do Emirates Skills. It's a national competition. I do the game development. We also participate in Comic-Con. This is the biggest pop culture event back home. It's such a big, diverse group of people, as you can see from these pictures. And I've been talking with the organizers to have a pavilion for indie game devs. And that's where I want your help with that. And there are some pictures of these events through the years. Here's Games 15 and IGN, and recently we had DGC. This is the only event I've seen that focuses on game development, but they've approached it in the wrong way, I think. They've just sold services like localization, publishing. I think that's the wrong way to do it in such a small community for indie game devs. But the indie-friendly one was Dubai Game Expo, which is happening in 3 weeks in Abu Dhabi now. I'll be featuring indie developers and some talks. The most friendliest event was AMAs that happened last year in Abu Dhabi, and I got to meet some really awesome people over there. Sadly enough, we had only a handful of attendees. So here I'd like to spotlight some local developers from the country. We'll start with Asatir. His name is Mohammed, and he's working on a game called Roses Will Rise. It's a strategy RPG game with a female protagonist based in a fantasy world. He's working on this on his own, from art to music to everything. His game is available on Itch.io to download for free, and you can check out his progress. And you can support him on his Patreon. Our second developer is Hind. She is working on Black Crystals. It's a hand-drawn, character-driven JRPG with the point-and-click elements. And here are some of her art. Playable demo of this game will be ready at the end of the year. If you are into these kind of games, you can follow her and support her on her Tumblr and Twitter page. And last but not least is Keshkul Games. This is a newly established game studio run by a few guys, one of which I've met 3 years ago at a workshop that I was doing. And he had a bunch of questions, and his goal was to establish a game studio, and he actually did that this year. So I'm really happy that he went ahead with his dream. He's working on a game called Sheba, an action RPG game, and you can follow their progress on Keshkul Games. It's fairly new, so I don't know anything about the game just yet. So I want to talk briefly about the challenges. The challenges that we have over back home are the lack of understanding for the gaming industry. People don't really know what is the nature of game dev. So funding opportunities is really hard to come, no grants and no support from investors because they expect it to be like a Minecraft thing or mobile game with like racing cars, something very not very mindful, I think. So building a sustainable, healthy community is not really possible there. Also, the world does not know about us. They think we're very isolated on an island. Media portrayal of like any Arab or Muslim countries or any community is terrible. So with your help, I would like to bridge that gap, and I want to invite you to attend our events, to showcase your work. It's a great market for gamers, and I want people to be inspired by the work that you guys do, tell your stories. So if you are interested, please contact me on this, find me on Twitter, or we can talk about anything, basically. And I would like to leave you with this 10 seconds.
Shake your hands. Shake your hands and watch yourself.
Wait, dance.
Oh, shoot, Butchie.
So this was 3 weeks ago at Comic-Con, so yeah, please come over if you want to. Thank you.